Hi Jody Creatives, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be making this beautiful turban cap. You're seeing right here on your screen is a crisscross turban cap, and it's something you can make in different colors, different fabrics, and you make a lot of it and you start selling out. This is a very simple and unique turban cap you will not want to miss. So if this is something you know you will love to learn, so we are going to be making that cap, that crisscross cap you just saw on your screen, and this is the material I'm going to be using. This is a poly material. It's called poly material, poly fabric. You can use raw silk, you can use scuba, you can use flowering scuba, you can use any stretchy fabric, and if you are using an Ankara fabric, that is an African print fabric, you will need to use elastic at the back. So what I'm trying to say is that you can also use a non-stretchy fabric. So if you are using a non-stretchy fabric, just put elastic at the back or put a rope at the back and you are good to go. So let's get right into the measurements we have here. So it's just, we are cutting out just 2 pieces. It's kind of simple turban, not that complicated. So the measurements I have here is 29 inches, 29 inches by 18 inches, 29 inches by 18 inches. That is what I have here for the measurements. You know, I said that this turban cap is something you can make and sell quickly. That is, if you are looking for a turban cap to sell, this is a very easy turban cap to make and you can sell it quickly. So now let's start with the sewing. So whatever we do in this piece, we are going to repeat it in the second piece. So the first thing we are going to do is to bring out our band, because there's going to be a band on this and the cap is not going to be separate band. Is a sew together band. So we are making a sew together band. So the first thing you will do is, okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to fold your fabric into 2. So this head circumference is the stretchy part. This is the head circumference, which is the 29 inches, and the width of the cap, that's the depth of the cap, is 18 inches. So we are going to fold this into 2 this way to place our markings. So fold it into 2. When you're done folding, you mark out your band first. So I'm going to be using a 3 inches band, so I'll just mark out 3 inches like so. So from that 3 inches, I'll start marking 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. So you mark that 1.5 inches all the way down. You mark it all the way down. And whatever you do on this fabric, you repeat it on the second fabric. Repeat it on the second fabric. And I used just 1 yard of fabric for this, and I didn't even use up to half yard. So the 1 yard, your 1 yard of fabric, you can make use of, you can get 2 cap from it. From that 1 yard of fabric, you can get 2 cap from that 1 yard of fabric. So for you to see that it's something that you will gain from it when you make it and you market it. So you start notching. So you notch all these markings that you mark, you notch it, because we are going to sew. So you notch, 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 and notch. So when you're done with your notchings, you open it up. So you take your pins and you see the way watch what I'm doing. I want to first fold in my band. So you fold in your band this way. I'm going to pin it down. And you should also pin so that you get accurate line when you're sewing, so that your stitch will be accurate. So when I'm done pinning, so what I'll do is I'll take it to the sewing machine and I'll pick it this way, like so, and I will stitch it all the way down. I'll stitch all the way down like this. Like this, I'll stitch it all the way down. You get it? So when I'm done stitching this, so I'll take this other pleat, this other notch here. I'll also sew it all the way down. I'll pick this also again. I'll sew all the way down. Pick this, sew all the way down. So I'll sew it like that till I'm done sewing this and the second piece. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine now. I'll sew and I'll be right. So I'm done with my sewing. So can you see? So this is the band. See the way I stitch it. Then I went ahead and pick all the 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches that I marked, and I sew it all the way down. You can make yours 1 inches and you can make it 2 inches. It does not have to be the 1.5 inches that I make. So it depends on how wide you want it, how you want the pleat to be. So it depends on you. So this is what we have. This is the front and this is the back. So the next thing we are going to do is to fold it into two. You fold it into equal two. So make sure they are equal, and then you mark the center like this. You locate the center, you mark it. So when you're done marking, you do your needle and thread, and then you pick it the way I'm doing. Just watch it. You just pick the pleats. I'm picking only the pleats. You can see just the pleats, and I'm picking right at the middle where I marked. So you have to mark it to get the midpoint because we need the middle. So I just picked it all the way to the band. That's the pleats at the band. So this is what we have. So you arrange it from the front and make sure you can see how neat it's looking. Okay. Then you secure your thread. So repeat the same thing for the other piece. So this is what we have, and here's the second one. So here is the two piece. So the next thing we are going to do now is to put this on it like so. So front facing front. You can see this is the back and this is the back of this. So this is the front and this is the front of this. So the front should be facing each other, and just cross it this way. You see the way I'm crossing it? You just cross it this way. So when you're done crossing it this way, the next thing you do is make sure this midpoint is on each other. That's this part that you tack. Make sure. So you cross it this way. So when you're done crossing it this way, front facing front, take note of that. So you bring this, just watch carefully. You bring this to this place, lap it on it. You lap it on it. So when you're done lapping it this way, so you bring this other side. You come to this down. You see what I'm doing? You bring this to this and this to this. Then you pin all the way down. So pin from the down. Don't pin from the up. Don't come here and pin. By the time you're done pinning, coming down, you have excess here. There's no way you have excess. So if you don't want to have excess at the back here, just pin from the down all the way up. Pin it from the down all the way up. So you pin it very close to the knots. So this is what we have. So when you are done pinning this like this, then you pick this. See this? Then you pick it also. You pin from down again. Pin from down. Till you get to where the knot is. So I'm here now. So when you're done pinning, you can see. So you take it to your sewing machine first. You will stitch all the way to this point. You will also stitch this one all the way to this point. So I'm going to take it to my sewing machine now, and I'll stitch these two lines that I pleated and I pinned. Sorry, I pinned here and I pinned here. So I'm going to take it to sewing machine and sew on a 1/2 inches allowance, and I will be okay. So I've gone ahead to stitch it down. You can see my stitch and also the second part. So when you're done, you open it up. You have something like this. Can you see it? So you determine where will be your band, either this part or this part. So you arrange it very well. Please arrange it very well. You arrange, because if you did not arrange it very well, you finish sewing and you discover that this part is opening. So you have to arrange it properly. So when I'm done arranging and I'm comfortable with what I'm seeing, so I'll just flip it to this, I'll just flip it this way, and I'll pin again from down here. And if you're sewing also, you sew from down up, don't sew from up down. So I'll just pin. So I'll pin it very close, and I will sew till I'm not able to sew anything again. Then I'll stop. So I'll now take it to my sewing machine now. I will sew from here, the down, all the way up. So I'll go ahead and sew this, and I'll be right. So I've gone ahead to sew. This is what we have. So when I'm done, just open it and you have something like this. You have something like this. So the next thing we are going to do now is to fold it this way. Fold it this way. And you will measure your head circumference. My head circumference is 11 inches. That's 22 inches. So 22 divided by 2 is 11. But I'm going to be minusing 1 because it's stretchy, so I'll have 21 inches. So that's 10.5. So I'm going to be marking 10.5 here. From this twisted part, you measure it from the twisted part. You measure your 10.5. I can even do with 10. I can even go with 10. Or if you follow my measurement, as in this exact measurement we have here, you can just go in by 2.5. It's the same thing. You can see it's right at this place, or you go in by 2 inches. Depends on the head circumference you are working with. So when I mark this head circumference, I'll pin. So now this allowance here is going to give it a little back drop at the back. So I'm just going to pin all the way down. So when I'm done pinning, I'll measure 5 inches slanted. See the way I'm slanting it? I'll measure 5.5 inches. I will slant it to 1/2 inches. So you see what we have? You see the way I slanted it? So I'll just slant it, and I'll continue with my 1/2 inches. So I measured my head circumference to this point, and from this point I measure 5 inches. So I slanted this head circumference to the 5 inches here. So from there you continue with your 1/2 inches. You sew it 1/2 inches all the way to this point. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll be back. So I'm done sewing, as you can see. Hope you're seeing my stitch. So I stitch all the way, and I continue with my 1/2 inches. So the next thing we are going to do now is to run a gather stitch here before I turn it to the right side for you to see. So but before then, remember you want to make it. If you want to make it for your clients, or you want to make it for a ready-made cap, a ready-to-wear cap, you need to weave this part. But because of the purpose of this training, I'm not going to be doing that now, so that I can finish it up for you to see. So you need to weave this part to make your inner cap neat, and you weave all this part that we sew, you weave it so the inside will be very, very neat. So take note of that. So the next thing I'm going to just going to run my stitch. So I'm running my stitch through the sewn part. That's the part I sew. I'm not going towards this place. I'm going towards the part I sew. That's that slanted part. And I'll stop at the band. So I'll go in back just to secure my thread. So I'll just secure my thread properly. And this is what we have. You can make as many as this and you start cashing out, start selling. So it's a very simple turban cap, very, very simple and very beautiful and easy to wear, easy and ready to wear. So this is what we have. Can you see how beautiful it's looking? See how beautiful? Look at the back, so lovely. Look at the front. Now if you want to embellish, you can also embellish it. If you want to make it very sophisticated and classy, you can also embellish it. That's if you're using a plain material, you can embellish and it will come out so lovely. You can make as many as this and start advertising. Start showing your friends and family and you start making your money. So it depends on your location. I cannot give price. So you can just follow what you bought as in your material, calculate your material and whatever way you decide to make it. I don't know, you might decide to embellish it, and with your embellishment just calculate everything and add your profit, whatever profit you want, and you are good to go. So, and this measurement I use is for all sizes. It fits all sizes, and the depth of the cap also accommodates any kind of head. It accommodates it. You can also use a turban lift for it. Yes, there's a video on how to make a turban lift on my channel, so just you can also check it out and make a turban lift for it. If you wear it with a turban lift, it's also wonderful. That is, if the person does not make hair, they can wear it with a turban lift and it's come out so beautiful with turban lift also. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.